Welcome to the Epically Geeky Show, episode number 124. I'm your host for the evening, Eugene Stevens. Tonight's opening question is, what was the worst candy to get when you were trick-or-treating? Lainey.
Hi.
Hi.
Who's that?
What was the worst candy to get when you were trick-or-treating?
I would like to state before I make my comment, I'm not shaming anybody because I think some people really like these. But when I was a kid, I was like bummed every time I saw them like being passed out. So, you know those little flavored Tootsie Rolls?
Oh, yes, I know what you're talking about.
Oh my God. I can't. Like, the blue ones? What the fuck?
Oh,
The blue ones are vanilla.
No, they're not. They say
Yes,
blue.
they are.
Like, but then why are they blue?
I don't know.
I remember being a kid and seeing one once and getting excited because I thought I was pretty little. So I thought maybe it was like blue milk from Star Wars flavored, even though I didn't know what that tasted like.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried it and was, now I can find out. But I was horrified. Like, it was awful. So every time I got one of those, I was like, this is trash candy. I don't want this.
They actually say vanilla on them if you read the wrapper.
I couldn't read.
She's just looking at it and being like, nope.
Star Wars flavored? No, I'm out. Like, I was done. Not about it. I don't like Tootsie Rolls in general, though, so that could be it. I think it's like a texture. They get stuck in my teeth.
What is a Tootsie Roll? What is that?
Exactly. What is a Tootsie Roll?
Goodness.
Chocolate.
It tastes like
taffy.
It tastes like Depression era chocolate to me, and
It totally seems like a candy that was like a candy because they didn't have nothing else.
My grandmother loves Tootsie Rolls. She loves them, and I love that for her. I think that's adorable for her. But I think it's because it's Depression chocolate. Like,
yep.
There's so many things that's true about though, like pink bubble gum.
Yes,
Pink, it's like pink because of the Depression. Because that's the only thing that they had that they could put in the bubble gum because it was so cheap. Because the rationing and everything else. Mm-hmm. That's why the bubble gum was pink, because of the Depression.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Because Archie comics, I think. No, I don't know. I actually really don't know. But yeah,
Ray.
Those are disgusting.
Ray, what was the worst candy to get when you were trick-or-treating?
For me, it was the packaged thing that looked like a hamburger, or it looked like a...
Oh, the gummy ones?
Terrible gummies. Terrible. Horrible taste. They're usually slimy or like it just looked disgusting. I automatically threw them all in the garbage. I couldn't do it.
It looked like a hamburger?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. In Canada, that was a trick-or-treat candy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all, I can't with y'all. Y'all and your good-ass candy. Like, that was like a big deal to get here. I bought one on my very first trip to Walt Disney World, and it was like it was disgusting, but I was so excited about it. Like, you couldn't get past that out at trick-or-treating. Like, that was like, go to the candy store and get it.
No,
I don't think I've ever seen this.
But they're horrible.
You're not missing anything.
Apparently, you're not missing anything.
Y'all got like full-size candy bars at trick-or-treating, didn't you?
Certain places,
Yeah, certain. I'm saying as a norm. Like in Canada, it's like the national standard.
No, that's just maple sugar.
Y'all don't know nothing about the ghetto where we grew up.
Have to go to the rich-ass neighborhood.
Tootsie Rolls.
Yeah,
Depression
era chocolate.
Oh.
Chris, what's the worst candy you got trick-or-treating?
It's these. They were rolled in waxed paper that like bats or whatever on them, but they were like really, really, really intensely hard, tacky things.
Yeah.
Like molasses.
It was like hard toffee.
Hard toffee, but you could like lose a tooth trying to eat it.
I did lose
I lost
It's so frustrating though, because I like to taste them, but they were so hard. Or you could get them on a stick.
Like a sugar daddy.
Oh yeah, those are horrible.
yank
I
on
love
them.
those.
Oh my God! Why would they do that to us?
I love
Once
those.
again, that's Depression era candy.
You're
Those are
right.
so good though.
No,
No.
Tasted them, but I did how hard they were to chew. I
Yeah.
couldn't
It's
do
cheaper than a dentist.
that.
they
And
you literally pull your fillings out on this
You
stuff.
would.
It did. It
It's
pulled one
got
of mine
some
out.
baby teeth. No.
I imagine that's what Hagrid's treacle fudge would do. to
Oh
your
yeah,
mouth,
there you go.
is just
I
locked.
think that's fair.
Yeah, it's locked up. Also, when you go trick or treating, it's fun to get, but only for a little bit. Full cans of pop.
Yeah,
Because once you got like 5 or
weigh
6
them.
of
They
them,
weigh them down.
Oh, then the bag's heavy.
yeah, your night's done.
I lucked out. The guy that did that lived 4 doors down from me.
You hit them last.
I hit him last.
Yeah.
Yep.
This would happen in the middle.
Cyrus, what was the worst candy you got trick or treating?
I know what he's gonna say. I'm not
Yes,
mad
because
at
we had
him
a
though.
discussion
Yeah,
earlier.
Those are delicious.
I like them too.
They're disgusting, and they stick all in your teeth, and you
But they
can't.
taste like peanut butter.
No, they're poor people candy. Like you bite into it, and you can taste the rat feces. It's like
Oh, stop.
I
It's
feel like
like-
a few years ago there was controversy because I said blueberry was for people whose parents didn't love them.
Yes,
and I feel
you
like
did say
what
that.
you're saying is just as bad.
like I can look at one. I take it out of the package, and I can almost see the little track marks where the roaches walked across it.
Stop. I will say I always wonder like how old is the factory that makes them?
Yes, they don't still make these, right? They just been sitting in a warehouse for like.
There's
50
one.
years.
No, there's one
Like
factory
40
still
years.
making them somewhere.
They're slowly like going through the inventory. Dust another pallet off, boys. We got another.
We got a
Halloween.
shipment.
Sean, what was the worst candy you got?
Mine was the cans of pop, specifically diet.
Who
Oh,
gives you?
Hell
Who gives you
gives
cans of
diet
soda?
ginger ale or something
We
like
got
that?
cans.
What?
And by the end of the night, I'd be carrying like a case of pop on my freaking
Soda.
back.
Why would
'Cause
somebody
you couldn't
give
drink
you?
it because if you started opening them up and drinking it, then you're looking for bushes to take away.
Yeah.
And you
And
gotta
if you didn't
pee.
have the right costume, you're fucked.
Why would somebody do that? That's not
Oh.
okay.
It was worse.
Right?
And then the other bit is it would pulverize all your chips that you got.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It would turn them all into powder or break open.
yeah.
That's
It's,
not
uh,
acceptable. That's an egging right there.
And yeah, that happened. But
Cool.
anyway, it's gotten worse because when I was trick or treating my 3 kids, the friggin' pop would come back out, and guess who had to carry it all? So
Dad.
3 kids worth. Oh my god, I couldn't believe it.
No, that's not cool, man.
Take the
Friggin'
next day
swole
off
by the end of the
because you're
night.
Yeah.
You don't just give kids the sodas you got in the fridge because you forgot to
I
eat
know.
candy.
You're talking about like diet
were-
ginger ale. I'm like,
they weren't
oh,
even cool.
scrappy cases that are still in your garage that you don't want, right?
Like
Yeah.
diet root beer. I didn't even know they made that.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
like root beer, but diet root beer, no.
It's like, honey, the kids are here. We ate all their candy. What do we got? Give them this diet soda.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
there's still a
They left
can
you
of
for the
Diet
day.
Right from '87. Go give them that.
I was thinking
Bottle-
diet
bottle-
tab, and it literally has the pull off thing. Like it's not even
Break you
the
one
newer
off.
one.
Yeah.
No.
Oh my God. That is unforgivable. Like
Matter.
there needs to be a list of people who've done that started and like kept on the internet forever. Like that's a permanent mark
Soda's
on you.
like a cool thing to get when I was a kid, but again, in one house, and they gave out like good sodas. You got like a full size Coke, full size Dr Pepper, full size Sprite, and he'd let you pick.
We didn't. No, soda's not okay. No, soda is not candy.
Sandy's size drawing a line. It's candy or nothing. Like you do
That's-
not cross it.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out.
No, that you can't do that. There's certain things you can give away that are not candy, like caramel covered apples or those popcorn
Candy.
balls.
That's candy.
It's not really candy.
Like
It's
it's candy adjacent.
but
Have you
it's
guys ever gotten-
acceptable.
Paste before?
What?
What?
Little things of toothpaste? Oh yeah.
Oh, I've never got a
Fucking hate
toothpaste.
that house.
Yes.
I always hate that house.
Toothpaste?
Toothpaste, floss.
Yeah, if you had a dentist in your neighborhood, you were
Why don't
fucked.
they just hand out Bibles? Like, what the hell?
Why don't they just put the egg in your hand to throw back at the house?
No, right?
Yeah, like here's a dozen eggs. Well, please don't egg us.
Here's a roll of toilet paper. Have at it, punks. Like
if the cops caught you with eggs and you explained to them why you were egging the house, I'm sure they would be like cool with it.
Yeah.
Because
Of Sunday raisins.
Chris just reminded me. Those
Raisin
raisins.
boxes.
Yeah.
Raisins.
Little box of raisins.
always an older lady that handed those out too.
Yep.
Yes.
no, this is not okay.
These kids today with their candy and their video games, and so they give you raisins.
Raisins are not candy.
No.
I
No.
don't give a crap. There's no way you will ever
Raisins
get
are
this.
depression era candy, aren't
I was
they?
gonna say, You want- Let's go put the. Oh, these grapes have gone bad. No, they're just raisins now.
Just raisins.
Would
Oh,
Raisinets be acceptable though?
No.
Not
Yes,
in my
Nope.
house.
I love Raisinets. So
that
yes.
is the biggest scam ever pulled on kids in this world.
No, let's put some fucking
Raisinets.
chocolate on it. Call it even.
Bunch of crap, man.
The fuck?
There's chocolate. No, got you again.
Yes.
They fooled you, kid.
You wait.
The one that I had on my list was black licorice. Black licorice to me is basically saying I have a social contract to fulfill, but I don't like children.
Yeah. Don't fucking come back, you little punk.
Exactly.
Okay.
I
know
love
some-
black licorice.
I like black licorice. This is not a popular thing. Like you agree with me. My brother's nuts about black licorice. He loves black licorice.
Well, that explains a lot.
Salted black licorice. The Dutch thropies.
Oh, I've heard about those. They
What
put
is
like
it?
sea salt on top,
They're
right?
called thropies. They're Dutch black licorice. They're salted. I get the double salted ones, and I bring them into work and just watch guys want to vomit. But I love them. They're great.
I don't even know what that is.
I
I
can't.
understand controversial candy. If I like candy corn, so I'm a real
I do too.
Okay,
Delicious.
candy corn is. See, the thing about candy corn, that's clearly a depression era candy. Come on, you're eating crayons that are flavored, but there's
Basically,
still.
yes.
You know what's even better is the little candy corn pumpkins. I have a whole thing of those in my
Those are pretty
kitchen
good.
right now.
What about those? There's two kinds of orange slices. There's the orange slice that's like gel covered in sugar, and then there's the orange slice that's like puffy, like styrofoam.
Yeah.
Like the peanuts.
Circus
The
peanut.
peanuts.
Oh, is it peanut?
Circus
Yeah.
peanuts.
You eat those
I
peanuts.
like
Yes, they're-
circus
Yeah.
peanuts too.
Yes.
I like both of those
Oh,
actually.
I love that.
Yeah, it's good. It's like the marshmallows you get out of the cereal box.
Yeah, it does. That's exactly right. Thank you, Ray.
Yeah, but the reason why their marshmallows in the little box are this big is so you can choke them down.
Delicious.
Not just take bites out of it. Now, yeah, those I'm like, those are like the last thing, like at the bottom of the bucket. I'm like,
No, those are good.
all right, I guess
The last thing at the bottom of the bucket is like the individual lemon starbursts and like you
Oh.
know.
I remember when they started selling the Starburst and like the little 2-pack things.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And when you open one of those motherfuckers and it's 2 fucking lemons.
Someone was putting a thing out on Facebook a while ago, and it was a picture of that. It was a double lemon. They're just like, fuck my life.
Getting kicked in the fucking balls. It's the worst.
Yeah.
Like, great. Fucking great. Cool.
That happened to Quinn. He got 2 lemons, and when I opened mine, I got 2 pink.
Oh,
I traded him one. It was,
That was nice.
you're a good father.
Like, if you put those together, then it's like strawberry lemonade, and that's cool.
that's okay. Yeah, we can get away.
I don't think you can do that. I think that's illegal.
I
actually.
think you're
Cops
supposed
will
to
show
have
up
one
at your house. Oh, man.
Well, tonight's topic, we're talking about the spirit of Halloween, kind of how it's changed through the years and stuff. This was an idea that Cyrus came up with. Sorry, my brother just texted me. We were seeing if the niece wanted to come over tomorrow, but I don't really want them to. I don't really want them to have to drop her off at 5:30 in the morning. So,
What do you mean? You mean Brian has no recognition or cognizance of what time you're doing your show? Huh, that's interesting.
anyway, so we're talking about the spirit of Halloween. And Cy brought this up, talking about how initially he brought up how Halloween doesn't seem. It's definitely different than it was as a kid. So we thought we would talk about that tonight. And I wanted to start off talking about what Halloween was, what it was like for you as a kid, like what you thought about it, some of the things you did as a kid, and then talking about it now and just kind of maybe discussing why things have changed. So would anyone like to go first?
Orgies. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my.
I mean, in some houses, maybe.
Let me go first because I came up with a topic. Let me start this off. So, what I was thinking is how much. When I was thinking about this, I was like, man, Halloween has changed because when you see Facebook posts or whatever, social media, people talking about Halloween, it's like people are talking about funny costumes they have or slutty outfits they're going to wear or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like nobody's scared of Halloween. Like, Halloween's not scary. When the movie Halloween was made, the movie Halloween with Michael Myers and all that, this was back in a time when there were like rumors, oh man, there's these black vans that drive around and you got to be careful with the kids because there's Satan worshipers and blah, blah.
Satanic panic.
Right. And not just that, but remember, there might be something about, I mean, we're not saying, because we don't believe in witchcraft and all that kind of stuff, but you never know, it's the All Hallows Eve and the Druids and blah, blah, blah. It's real mysterious and there might be something going on with the night, so you don't want to be out by yourself and, you never really know. And people would there was superstitions. There was people with stories they would tell you about a bunch of bullshit about who knows what,
Oh no!
Oh no! He froze up.
Oh, and that's a really too. There you go, Cy.
So it's all right. He started to sound like my grandmother.
He is frozen. He's frozen for y'all too, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So what happened was
there he is. He's back.
Over.
What the hell?
You froze up, dude. Like you were telling this story and you were in the middle of it and you were about to drop some knowledge on us and you just
a precious look on your face.
How long ago was it? What was the last thing you heard me say?
Druids and
okay. Okay, so man, so maybe there's something that doesn't want me to tell you.
Tell you exactly, yeah.
But Halloween, man. This is.
Yeah, so once upon a time, there was superstitions. There was people that were concerned about, that what they didn't know and like the mystery and mystique of, things and whatnot. And Halloween was scary. Like, people would sit around and tell stories. I remember when I was in high school, I had some friends. One of my best friends, we went to his girlfriend's house and she had some friends and I'm in there telling some crazy story I made up. He crawls underneath the house and when I get to a certain point, like he bangs on the bottom of the floor and scared the shit out of everybody. They all ran different directions. One of the girls ran down to the fucking street. Like, it used to be scary, because you didn't know everything. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have, people still believed in things, there was still, it was a different time. And so I was thinking, once upon a time, Halloween was scary. We had all these haunted houses. We had, things where people, there's still haunted houses, but it's not what it used to be. It's turned into cosplay Easter, where everybody goes and gets their little candy and, has a good time and make sure everybody's not upset. And, we don't want to do anything that'll freak anyone out. And, it's just not like what it used to be. So that's what got me thinking about all that.
Well, okay, so when you were a kid, like, did you do a lot of decorations or anything? Did you dress up and everything?
Oh yeah, we would have the costumes and there would be like the people would do like decorate their houses. Sometimes like we used to hide in the bushes and like kids would get their candy and we'd jump out and scare them. And we would throw water balloons and stuff, do all that kind of stuff. We didn't ever egg anybody because it was like expensive if you got caught. It was like $50 an egg or something like that.
Big old
so we were
fine.
right, but water balloons they just made you bust your balloons. They didn't do nothing to you. But yeah, I mean, we had we went to all kinds of horror houses, that were held at schools and churches, even, And I went to one that was so freaking scary. I was probably like 8 years old, and I remember, nearly shitting myself trying to get through this damn haunted house, like clinging to the grown dude in front of me like this the whole time. It's just like, it was scary, and but nowadays, whatever, I don't know. It just seems like it's changed.
It has. It definitely has.
All right, Lainey. Well, what was going on with you when you were a kid doing Halloween?
So, I was a kid in the 90s, so I would say, things at that point had definitely changed a lot. Eugene, you were a kid in the 80s, so I feel like you can speak to the whole, like, mom has to go through all your candy to make sure that nothing's wrong with any of it. And
oh, yes, like that.
No razors.
Razor blades and apples
that was still a really big deal when I was a kid,
yes.
And I was a little goody two shoes, and so I never broke that rule. Like, I did not eat any candy like in between houses because I knew somehow my mom would know.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if it was the neighborhood that I grew up in or what it was, but like when I was a kid, Halloween was still a really, really big deal. Like we had I grew up in just like a little, like, I don't know, there were maybe 5 streets total in my subdivision, like 2 blocks on each. So everybody kind of knew each other. Everybody, there were a ton of kids in my neighborhood. So when it was Halloween night, like those streets were crawling with children, like just teeming with kids.
Mm-hmm.
They were everywhere. Every single house gave out candy. Every single one. Some houses gave out like homemade baked goods. There was a woman like 2 streets over who used to give out these amazing brownies every year, like wrapped in like pumpkin colored cellophane, like just cute stuff like that. Like that's the kind of Halloween I remember. I remember there would always be at least one block party going on one of the streets, and they always made plenty of food, so you would stop and get like a hot dog like midway between trick-or-treating on one half of the street. Like,
that sounds fucking amazing.
It was dope. It was so dope. And like I remember one street over, I remember the street too. I could probably pick the house out if I drove by it. They used to do a free haunted house. They would set up their whole house. Yeah. And you would walk through. I never did. I was not a kid that liked to get scared. I just wasn't.
Surprise.
Right? That just wasn't my thing because I was fucking terrified of everything. So my parents always presented it as like, if you want to do it, you can do it, but you don't have to. Like, that's your prerogative. Whatever you want to do. We're not going to force you to go through it. My dad loved it. But like my friends would go through it. Like it was stuff like that. We had a really small, pretty tight-knit little community that I grew up in. And so Halloween was huge. Everybody's house was decorated. My house was always crazy decorated. My dad would always volunteer to like stay, and my dad would be that dad that was sitting out with like the Grim Reaper costume scaring the shit out of kids that would come up to the door. But even then, stuff like that was super, super common. But I guess it was always presented as a kid, if you were too scared to walk up to the house, you just skipped it.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't berate that parent that was sitting up there for trying to scare kids because it was fucking Halloween.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that big of a deal. I was always big into dressing up. Surprise, surprise. That was always my thing. My mom would like make me these beautiful costumes. I would start planning my Halloween costume in August every year. Like, my mom would take me to the fabric store and I'd pick out the pattern and pick out the fabric. It was amazing. So it makes me sad sometimes, but I don't know if Eugene can maybe speak to this. Like, he's grown up here. I don't know if it's just like the way that the town that we live in now has changed, but
tell us what it was like in the old days, Eugene.
Because Eugene was here in the 80s, and like the way that Eugene has always talked about what it was like when he was a kid, it sounds different than it is today.
Well, okay, so I was also, in a different neighborhood, but
You grew up in a neighborhood like mine.
Yes, I grew up in a neighborhood. It was right behind one of the high schools, and I'm like you. Granted, I mean, hindsight being 2020, like I remember like almost every single house gave out candy. That was a thing.
Oh
But
yeah.
like we didn't do like a lot of decorations. Like my mom had a few things she'd like kind of like window decals or whatever she would put up. Um, most of my costumes, maybe a few of them were made, but most of them were like I think when we were really small, they were made. But like as we got a little bit older, it was those really crappy. Um,
Store bought.
Plastic.
well, no, like if you were going as like He-Man, like it was like the arms kind of look like He-Man, and maybe the legs and like like your underwear area was like brown like his was, but then like it was white and it actually had a picture of He-Man on it, and like you had the plastic mask that you couldn't hardly see through or breathe through, and it was those and like that, but that was it. That was the only costumes that were out there, and that was one of the points that I was going to bring up was the fact that like fucking Spirit of Halloween opened, at least some of them opened 2 months ago. Like they were open in August, and already peddling stuff. And of course you can go. There's actually even a competitor that opens up here in town that like has costumes and stuff, and like the costumes are pretty decent and look pretty cool. And I'm just like, that's something I think that's really cool that's evolved. But yeah, I remember that. But I'm like y'all. I also remember like it was, being a kid. It was like how there was something mysterious about Halloween, and it's kind of scary. Like we would always
Wild
watch.
West.
Yeah, we would always watch the some of the Halloween specials, the Peanuts, and like the Headless Horseman or whatever. But like we didn't really
Jeff
watch.
Goldblum.
What?
Jeff Goldblum.
Get out of here.
Oh,
No, serious. I used to watch that on Halloween. He played Ichabod Crane.
did he?
How do you not know this, Laney? It was a Disney.
Wait. No, wait a minute. I mean, I've watched
No,
Ichabod
you did
Crane, like the old one, like the
Failed.
Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Not the cartoon, the live action. Look it up.
Hold on.
The live action.
Hold on.
Live action.
Jeff.
Maybe it was only available in Canada.
I only remember the animated one.
Headless.
Maybe it was a CBC.
Headless Horseman.
So
Legend of Sleepy Hollow. 19. What?
and Lainey now has something to watch for Halloween.
Excuse
There
me?
you go.
Oh my god. Well, because I loved the old school, like the Disney,
cartoon.
Yes.
the Legend of Sleepy Hollow with Ichabod Crane and the whole thing. I loved that as a kid.
Yeah, they still want like $13 for it, and I'm like, really? It's kind of old.
Worth it because you also get
Mr. Toad. Yeah. So, but anyway, so watch that. But I remember like I don't know, maybe it's just once again thinking back as a kid, like horror movies now are spread out all through the year because just of the market. Like they can't, if they all packed in October, like none of them would fucking make any money. So they have to spread out, throughout the entire year. But I remember like when I was a kid, like when fucking October 1st hit, like that's all that was in the movie theaters was fucking Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street, and like it was of course as a kid that was scary shit. But yeah, and then of course I still remember well into the 90s, especially like some of the larger cities would set up areas where they're like, we have an X-ray machine and you can bring your candy and we'll run it through the X-ray machine to make sure there's nothing in there. P.S. By the way, did some research on that. Some other people did some research on it. There was never a confirmed case that shit ever happened. That was literally moms telling moms scary ass stories,
Which is still a thing.
Which is still a thing, yes.
And has been exacerbated with Facebook.
Yes.
Which I totally understand. All you want to do is make sure that your kids are safe. And I get that. I see some kids running rampant and I'm like, where are your parents? Like, I understand that. But I just stop.
Like, okay, so as an adult, like if the boys did get something that was homemade, we're probably not going to let them eat it. Just
I was going to say, yeah, the rule nowadays is if it's not packaged from a store, you just throw it in the trash.
Well, and see, like even schools are that way. Like cupcakes are about the only thing that you can take in. Otherwise, like if the kids are having a Halloween party or whatever, like you can bring in cupcakes, but other than that, everything has to be prepackaged and
cupcakes have to be store bought in the package.
Yeah, that's right too. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so and of course that the
They're not
sad thing about
allowed.
that is like the corn, the popcorn balls.
balls?
Loved those, but if they're not the prepackaged ones,
Yep.
which don't taste as good,
No, they don't.
you know, and it's not so much. I'm not worried about someone in my neighborhood. First off, who the fuck is going to be stupid enough to put a razor blade in something and kill a kid in the same neighborhood that you live in? Ours is mainly so, more like, well, we don't know how sanitary your house is necessarily when you were making this. Like, was the cat licking the batter? What's going on there?
The
As Sai
rumor
said,
for
you can
dog
literally
trap.
see the rat trap or rat marks across it. So,
Right.
yeah. But yeah, so I mean, yeah, it was definitely more mysterious, or there was something about it, and nowadays it doesn't seem like it's there. So, Sean, what are any thoughts on this when you were a kid?
Oh, it's. I just remember like there was a lot of kids in my neighborhood, but I used to go out like when I was very young without parents and all that, and like I would hit every house in the subdivision, then switch costumes with my buddy, so we could hit every house again.
Genius.
Seriously, you
Getting
did that?
late, it would be going back and making it interesting, like ring the doorbell, try to blow out the candle before they actually came to answer the door and not get caught, and then get more candy from them. And that didn't always work. But yeah, like kids today, like your parents are with them at every step of the way. Where I think I was like maybe 8 when I started going out with my older friends, and that was
I was 9 or 10.
yeah, something like that. But now that's like unheard of. Now the kids are going around with their phones and all that. Like, oh, this person's giving out full candy bars. Let's go over there. And then this week's like, dude, just hit every freaking house.
Yeah, go to all the houses. Do the legwork.
Yeah, unless you're getting cans of pop, then you're fucked. You don't want to.
Yeah.
Don't go to that house. Yeah.
I wonder if there's a trick or treating app like that. Like literally, you could log in and put an X on this house. It's like, don't go there.
But there was
That's a good idea if there's
growing
not.
up that like there was a lot more kids out there. Like we didn't go too nuts for the decorating of our house either, like a few decals kind of thing and all that. But and then the pumpkins where the candles kept getting blown out. But no, it was a lot more relaxed, I think, growing up. And now, so that was a bit in the 80s. I stopped going out in the 90s trick-or-treating. I can't tell you what I did after that because I don't think there's a statute of limitations on some of that shit. But, yeah. For when I was a kid trick-or-treating, it just, you could feel it. And going out now, well, going out with the kids, because I don't go out with them anymore. But even when I did, there wasn't nearly as many people going out, and a lot of houses were dark. And I'm like, geez, what the hell? So
that's the part that bums me out.
Yeah, there's those few that like go full out and are still doing the haunted houses and stuff like that. But every house next to them will be dark. Like, and it wasn't like that when I was a kid.
Chris, Ray?
Okay, so my earliest memory of going out trick-or-treating, I lived in Northern Ontario till I was 9. So it was a fairy princess, beautiful sequined thing over top of my pink snowsuit because it was like minus something.
Jesus.
So
that was the worst. And your mom's like, you have to wear
because I was like, I told her I was 5. I remember this vividly. I had it in my head that I was just going to wear a nice white turtleneck with some tights underneath. And I was going to wear it was like seafoam, green, bluey color with the sequins. I was a fucking fairy and it was amazing. And then my mom was like, it's like -5. You need to put your snowsuit on. It's going to snow. And it's just like, oh, I was devastated. But yeah, so where I lived up north, there weren't very many people anyway. And then the other one that I remember, my granny used to help me too. One year I was Miss Canada. I wore one of my aunt's old prom dresses. She made me a sash, but I had to wear my coat because it was fucking cold. So everybody thought I was a princess, and I had to undo it and flash them with my sash.
I'm amazing.
Canada.
Nice.
Oh my
That's
God.
when those jack-o'-lanterns really help because you'd like be huddling around them for warmth.
Well, you're walking so much, so that helps. But when I moved down to Walkerton, which is where we mostly grew up, Walkerton was like the town. Like the whole town did it. We lived on opposite sides of town, so he had his, I had mine. But there were houses that did. Did you ever go to the one by Centennial Park? They did the okay. So there was one that
I knew about it.
You knew about it? Okay. So there was always one that did it up and everything. And my mom would go with us till we were a little bit older, but she would drive us. So she'd stop at the end of the block. She'd wait there. We would do it and then go back. We do because it was cold.
Yeah.
And when I forget how old I was when I started going out with my friends, but I trick-or-treated till I was 18 years old, my last year of high school. And it was a slash. I love trick-or-treating. I would still do it now if it was socially acceptable.
Mm-hmm. I'd go with you.
No, I don't care. That was the thing. I'm like, fuck you. I'm making an effort. I am doing what I am not coming to your house after 8:30. I'm not egging it. I'm not being a jerk. I'm trick-or-treating.
I'm here for candy.
I'm here for the candy. That's it. And my last year, I was also with the Rotary Club. So I also went I also did it for canned food for the food bank. So I hit all the Jehovah's Witnesses houses. They're like, we don't participate in Halloween. I'm like, food bank? And so I just
participated in charity.
They totally
They
participated.
participated
They
in that
did.
part.
I was dressed up as like this. I had this like asbestos suit on. My face was all white. Everything. I went with a couple of my girlfriends. But Walkerton in what was that? Like the late 80s, early 90s. Even now, I'm sure it's.
I'm sure it's.
I'm sure, but it was always teeming with kids that night, and yeah, and we lived in different parts. Now, I mean, when we lived in Port Elgin.
Well, yeah, we'll get into that.
Yeah, but it's. I mean, now we here in Denver, we don't have any kids here, so we don't even bother because there's nobody here. So what's the point? There's no kids here that go trick or treat. There's like 3 or 4 kids.
There's 4 kids, but they all leave.
They all leave to go to King Card because there's nobody here. But
No.
I'll get into it.
I know, but I'm also like Wayne. I was never the kid that liked being scared. I never liked the haunted houses. I still don't. Andy from Ellen, her producer, screaming and using people's human shields. But I don't like it. I never liked the horror movies. The spooky part of Halloween kind of didn't. I knew it was supposed to happen, but I also liked the fun part of it, like the Charlie Brown specials and the witches, like the magical part of it I liked. But I've never liked the scary part of it. So I guess for me, it doesn't register for me because I've never liked it. So I never see it. Like I don't want to. And that's throughout I don't like being scared in general. It's not a fun feeling for me. So for me, in that sense, it's still the same.
And then there's Ray.
There's Ray.
So, all right, Ray.
As a kid, I didn't like getting scared either. Like that was never.
Oh, okay.
I enjoyed. That being said, like I remember, so again, I lived up.
You lived on Valley Side.
I lived on Valley Side in Walkerton.
You lived up in the rich part of town.
Apparently, it was a rich part. I never knew that.
There's a rich part of Walkerton.
Apparently, there was. Back in the 90s.
Canadian burn. I like it.
So, sorry, we have the cat and the dog fighting with you. There you go. Anyway, so growing up, I'm surprised my parents let me do it. I went out as Charlie Chaplin one year. They gave me a cigar and everything. Like it was
nice. What can we use as a fake cigar? I just give him a real one. It'll be fine.
It was a real one. No, it wasn't lit, but it was a real one.
Your mom let you do that?
Yeah.
Oh, Donna.
So we would do that. But where we lived, there was this huge block, and you'd have to walk down this massive hill, and then you'd walk the rest of the block. And I'd have a half a pillowcase, no problem. And I probably filled that sucker a couple of years just from walking that block. Now it was a massive area, but I definitely burned off what I was going to eat from walking back up the hill because of how
it was a steep hill.
It was bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was always fun. There was a couple of houses that were scary and everything like that. But I always enjoyed Halloween. The one that I didn't like was Devil's Night.
Yes, Devil's Night was big in our town.
Okay, talk to me about that because I've only ever heard about that in like Halloween documentaries.
Really?
I watched.
Yeah, really? So Devil's Night's the night before, and that's when
you're supposed to go and cause chaos, essentially. So people
kids
would go
egg houses,
start little fires.
It's not nice.
No.
So one year I was walking along the street. I was probably 12. I was walking along the street with a couple of friends, and it was like 9 o'clock at night. It was probably 8. Felt later. Anyway, we're walking along, and this car comes ripping around the corner, and a guy's hanging out, and he's holding a full-size pumpkin, and he chucks it at us. Thankfully, it splattered in front of us.
All your pumpkins would get smashed too.
Yeah.
That was a big thing.
Oh.
Oh yeah. So that was
I thought the night after.
No,
it was always
sorry. I'm thinking logistically.
Yeah, it would make more sense after logistically. You're probably helping people out by smashing. Not so much. The walk-in was big for it. Yeah.
They really like that. My dad would always talk about a couple of fires that would get started too.
Yeah, because he was a cop in town.
So
and then but it was part of the tradition. You go out the night before Halloween, you pick up a hooker and
property damage.
Prudent is also the method.
Drop her off in the local creek.
Oh God.
So we had a lot of meth heads in town too.
Yeah.
See, that wasn't a thing down here. Was that a thing where you grew up, Si? Devil's Night?
We didn't know about, it wasn't like a term that I heard until, honestly, we saw the movie The Crow. It's the first time I ever heard the term.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, there was all kinds of shenanigans that took place. I don't know if y'all can hear me if I'm freezing.
Yeah, we got you.
There was all kinds of shenanigans that took place the night before Halloween. It was always like, hey, be careful. Because, people drive around and do stuff or whatever, and somebody might get a window broken or, it wasn't like horror. It wasn't like a whole family gets murdered or something like that, It was just like,
angsty trouble.
Yeah.
Some light property damage.
Stupid kids doing stupid shit.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm including you in that one.
I feel like when I grew up, there was always maybe a group of older kids maybe causing some trouble in the neighborhood, but I don't know, one kid might lose some candy, but it was never anything.
Oh yeah, that used to happen too.
Yeah, there was candy toll. Do you ever have to pay a
kids
candy
would
toll?
Kids would get their asses kicked, and
I have paid a candy toll. See, that didn't happen in my neighborhood. I heard rumors of that happening, a few neighborhoods over, but that didn't happen in my neighborhood. Just because I think there were always adults down at the block parties and stuff, and they were always around, so that wasn't really.
Well, when I grew up back in the late 80s, early 90s, it was there was definitely ass kickings happening. That was something you had to worry about because
I was too little.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just a different era, but back then, if you were a kid and the older kids there was some ass kickings that took place. You didn't want to be by yourself.
Oh yeah, I was never.
But that wasn't necessarily a Halloween thing. That was just.
I was gonna say that what you're talking about was more of a just coming home on the bus at any time of year.
Any day of the week.
You're clear of those 8th graders that are supposed to be in 10th grade.
Yeah.
Those folks.
Yeah,
all right. Well, talk about how Halloween is now, Si.
Well, I don't know that much anymore because I posted on Facebook earlier, when I was married and we had a house, I used to, hand out candy. Once my daughter got too old to really go out. Yes, you can get too old to really go out, Lainey. She got
nephews.
She got too old to kind of go out trick-or-treating. Instead, she wanted to go out and do other, go to this party and whatever. So once she was like, I'm going to go out on my own, and my wife, she was just indifferent to everything. So I was like, well, I'm going to hand out candy. So the last few years I handed out candy, and I really enjoyed that. That was really fun. Cause you would get to see, when you live in a neighborhood with houses up here, I say up here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, people, as long as you have your porch light on, people come to your house, whether they know you or not. And I would hand out candy like all the time. And you know, now I live in an apartment, and we don't do that in apartments up here. It's not done. It's not considered to be safe because you never know. There's nobody has a porch light. You know, there's no way to. So people don't go to apartments. Plus, there's gates, and you have to have the code to get in, and it's like a whole thing. And so, unless like you know somebody specifically that lives in an apartment, and you take your kid to that apartment, you're not. People don't do that up here. So I'm kind of out of the loop on what goes on at Halloween. I mean, I'm like basically retired from life. like I don't know what happens anymore. I'm the wrong person to ask.
Well, Lainey, what has Halloween become for you?
Well, I mean, I lucked out, and Eugene has 2 sons. So I get to hang out with my
nephews. We did that
nephews.
just for you, by the way.
Thank you. I really appreciated it. So, because God knows I'm like, no kids, just dogs. So I really enjoy Halloween still because I really and truly, Halloween is my highest of holy days. It's my favorite day of the whole year. It's my favorite holiday. But I usually dress up, go trick-or-treating with Nick and Alex. This year is the first year that they did not ask me to dress up with them. And there was some sadness. Yeah, I may have cried later. They're just getting so big. I can't deal. So, but I'm still down. I told them, I was like, I'll still come with you. And Nick's like, oh yeah, no, definitely come with. But
you have to dress up.
Yes. Oh, and I will, of course. But
ditto.
Right. So I don't know. For me now, as like an adult without children, it's more about, granted, I also teach. So it's still a big deal for like my students. I make it a really big deal in class. We always do like Halloween activities. I do this thing.
So y'all are doing Halloween on Halloween. That's another thing I was going to ask because.
Yes.
Yeah.
I kind of wish that Colleen would do it like a citywide thing where we would do it on like a Friday night, but it doesn't bother me that we don't, we make it work. Except this year I have picture day the day after Halloween. That's going to be fun. So
yes, this year Halloween being on a Thursday, that means at least we only have one day of all the candy showing up in the schools and the kids being hyper sugar,
Oh no, mine come in with a sugar hangover. That's what happens. They come in the next day and they're so fucking tired and they just can't. Like it's a chill day that day every single year. So
Lainey's got half the lights off.
Yeah. I have a dimmer switch in my classroom now, so like it's over for them. Like we're just gonna yeah. Anybody need water? Water? We need water.
Water and
pretty much, yeah. So basically, for me, it's become more about like facilitating it for like kids that I'm around constantly. I do still get invited to some Halloween parties, so we do still go to that, and I always make a big deal out of that. But I decorate my house just like my parents did when I was a kid. If we lived in a city where more people did trick or treat, we would probably hand out candy too. We might do that this year. I don't know, but yeah, it's just, I don't know. For me now, I feel like, and again, like I was saying to Eugene, I don't know if it's just like maybe the community that we live in, but it just doesn't feel like it's as big of a deal anymore. Like the actual trick-or-treating aspect of it. People want to decorate for it and they might get their kid a costume, but no one really like trick-or-treats in their neighborhood anymore. There's not this like camaraderie of all the neighborhood kids running around in costumes and like, I don't know. It just, it kind of makes me sad because when I was a kid, it was such like a special thing. It was such a cool, like someone said, like mysterious, like there was a little bit of mystery surrounding it. It was a big deal. And now it's just like, I don't know. It doesn't seem to have that same like magical quality that it did when I was little. And like I said, I do wonder if some of that is just the fact that we live now in a place where a lot of people, this isn't really their home base. A lot of people don't necessarily have kids that are living in the neighborhoods here. That could be a big part of it. And a lot of adults kind of see Halloween as an excuse to go out in a costume and get laid, which, I mean, do you? But
we are in a military town, yes.
We are. And that's not really my MO. I want to look funny or look cute with my nephews. So, but yeah, I don't know. It's still very special for me, but I don't feel like it's as special for kids nowadays. So,
I'll jump in here real quick.
Episode that we're recording.
For me, like, okay, so like I said, I didn't always dress up, and now like that's the thing. So like I'm like you, like the big thing is getting dressed up and going with the boys, even though, you know.
Oh, I was gonna say I like your Captain America outfit. It's pretty cool.
Oh, thank you.
Roger's in disguise. Leave him alone.
I have given consideration to doing Dad Bod Thor or the alternate version of Peter. Is it Peter B. Parker? You know, with the sweatpants, because that is awesome. Anyway, but yeah, that's for me. That's the thing. Now we've got people kind of all on the spectrum here. You know, Sai, like you said, your daughter's grown and out. Lainey doesn't have kids. The rest of us have kids, but at different stages. And at this point, it's, you know, it's about the kids. But Christy and I, like, even before we had the boys, we've been in this house for 13 years, I think, 15 years. But we've always decorated to some extent. And we've always enjoyed handing out candy. In fact, we used to, you know, traditional white people that don't have kids yet, you know, had costumes for the dogs because they were the children. But like literally, we would set a baby gate up at the front door and have the door open. And when people came up to trick or treat, Ruby and Max would go up with their, of course, oh, look at the puppies. And then we'd hand out candy. And
I couldn't do that. Molly would freak out.
Oh, yeah. But, you know, we would do that. We've always decorated. We've always, you know, for me, Halloween has become a much bigger deal as an adult than it was as a kid for me. But that being said, yeah, it's not scary at all. Granted, I mean, I'm definitely skewing more towards 7 and 8 year olds. So, you know, for me, it's like, okay, well, the Halloween stuff, like, you know, we'll watch these things when you're with y'all. And then there's certain movies that I always watch every year by myself, like Night of the Living Dead, Ghostbusters, Zombieland, Shaun of the Dead.
Dude, I saw Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street when I was probably 7.
Okay, I did see Friday. Was it Friday the 13th? No, Friday the 13th. I saw one of the Friday the 13th as a kid. Scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Pass.
Scared the shit out of me.
The Thing. Remember The Thing?
Yes.
John Carpenter.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, that it seemed like there were a lot more scary movies back then. And they definitely don't make scary movies like they used to. Now it's all jump scares, and a lot of it's, you know, very the Japanese version of horror, like jump scare and kind of weird stuff. But yeah, for me, Halloween is a bigger deal now, but it also totally skews away from being scary. And like you said, Lainey, I think the other thing is we have to look at the weather. If it's cold and rainy, there definitely aren't as many trick-or-treaters out.
Oh my gosh. Last year,
Cold.
it was
when it was kind of drizzly.
I was in a bodysuit and I was freezing. Okay?
It was kind of cool, and it was kind of drizzling. So
you gotta understand.
Yeah,
You gotta understand,
drizzling
right?
and it was chilly. Leave me alone.
This is Texas. If it's cloudy, they start calling the school. Are y'all having school today?
Shut up.
It's 75. What the hell's going on?
In October.
What about you, Sean?
I kind of get a mixed bag right now. Like, so I've got a 14, a 12, and a 9-year-old. So the 14-year-old's not going out this year. He's going to hang back and watch Treehouse of Horror with his parents.
Nice.
The 12-year-old,
as one should.
Yeah, it is. It's a good tradition. the 9-year-old's going out with his friends and their parents, so he's still going out and all that. But like we moved last year onto the main street, and the old house, the max I had was like 12 kids, and I was in a subdivision. It was crazy. So I'm figuring, all right, main drag, gonna have lots of kids, buttload of candy. I got myself a Scream costume kind of thing. I'm scary as hell.
Nice.
Not one kid.
Wow.
The only kids that came were the ones that picked up my son last year. So and I gave them a lot of candy twice because they brought them back. So I had to give it all again.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, no one. Like, lights are on and all that. I made sure, but no one. So that one hurt a little bit because I like giving out candy and it just didn't happen. But see, my wife runs Kinder Music in town. So she runs a week of Halloween play dates during the whole week. So like when I'm home and she has classes going on, like all the kids have to come with their costumes on. So this is from 0 to 7. Oh my God. I've seen a few of them already. They were so freaking cute. No one was scary, but like I had like Mega Man and
nice.
A whole Game of Thrones family came. Like their whole family dressed up as Game of Thrones. So you had like a baby dragon and all that. So cool. So I get that for a whole week, which
that's cool.
Kind of gets you in the mood still. But definitely not scary like what it used to be kind of thing. And it does suck not having those trick-or-treaters. I really know. I get you, Cy. It changes because I used to like handing out candy.
Man, I loved it. I loved the little kids that would like they'd waddle up, could barely move,
barely hit. Yep.
They stare at you like in a panic. They're just like
they don't remember what the question is. Like
what
they say.
Totally.
But they're like looking back at their parents
for a whole week when I'm home and she's running classes at night. It's great. But one of my best stories. Ray probably Chris and Ray may remember this a couple of years ago when I was living in the old house. So I had one of those rubber masks, the scary ones or whatever. So Deb had taken the kids out trick or treating, and I heard the doorbell ring. So I'm like trying to put my mask down, and I walk into the corner of the door and nearly break my nose. I'm staggering around trying to get to the front door. And just as I'm opening the door, I'm ripping off my mask and my nose is just pouring blood. Like this 3-year-old staring at me and just started crying.
Man.
And then like, how do you hand them candy when like blood is coming out? Oh, it was so horrible. But yeah, I basically just took the whole bowl and just poured it in.
Yeah.
Apologizing to our parents and then like going like
take
this.
all of it.
Oh man. That was the worst.
Wow.
Mask.
Sean, that's why you didn't get a lot of kids, because you were known as the bloody nose.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah, they're like, don't go to that house. That guy
crazy man, he eats people.
That was just 2 years ago, man. That was horrible. I destroyed that mask. It was.
They marked you on the app, and it hasn't gone off yet. So
you were probably on like the Ellen show or something and didn't know it.
Like I was lucky because I almost fell down the stairs. Like. I was trying to go on it was horrible.
So what I was trying to say there, Sean, was your porch now is like the ideal porch.
Do you have like a Hocus Pocus Halloween porch?
I don't know. I've never seen that movie.
You've never seen it?
Everything's a Disney movie to lady.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. I probably do. Like, I live in a century home, so it has a massive porch. Like we line it all with pumpkins and the whole 9 yards and
free bales and scarecrows.
You'll have it one day. You'll have it.
You'll have more this year, Sean, I think.
I don't know.
I hope you do. I want to hear back because now I'm.
Well, see, the problem is Halloween's on a Thursday, so I mean.
Yeah, that's not a big deal around here.
No, it's not a big deal here at all.
No.
Yeah.
Not the day of the week. No. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I will say, one year Halloween fell on a Friday. And I had to make the very important decision of, do I want to trick or treat or do I want to watch a new episode of Sabrina the Teenage Witch? And I had to really think about it.
Oh,
Yeah, back when
I was like, that's obvious. You go trick or treating, that's once a year. But then I'm like, wait a minute, this is back before DVRs and shit. So yeah, you probably wouldn't get to see that episode until mid spring. So
you didn't have a spare tape to record it on. It was a problem. My dad did me a total solid and went and grabbed one.
Wow.
So I'm telling you, it pays to be the only child. It really does. He's like, yeah, I got it. It's fine. I'm like, I'll go grab one. I need to get another bag of candy anyway.
I wish I lived near y'all so we could like get together and do stuff for Halloween.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was gonna bring something up.
That sucks living kind of off by myself. It's just like, yay, another fucking holiday to do nothing.
I would spend Halloween with Chris and Ray. I have a costume that I want Chris and Ray to do. Specifically. I need you guys to be Morticia and Gomez. I need you to.
But switch. But switch.
That's a pretty big Gomez.
I could be Gomez.
You could be
You
Gomez.
would make a great Gomez.
I would not be a good looking Morticia.
Yes.
I think you might be the best looking Morticia.
And you cannot shave.
No.
That's the thing. No.
No.
Or a long black wig. Oh
My God.
Oh my God.
I'm so here for this. I'm so excited now.
Yes.
All right, Chris and Ray, what is Halloween like for y'all?
Okay. Oh, thanks, babe.
Because I'm gonna,
So our kids are 13 and 11. When they were little, we lived like our first home we ever owned was in a little town, and I don't think we got any because we were the last house before you left town.
We got a couple. It was
we got a few, but we were
4 or 5.
But we were the last house before you left town. There was a big farmer's field behind us.
But our first Halloween there, we did get egged, and I was pissed.
I don't remember that. So then when we moved to Port Elgin, we had a great little itty bitty front porch. And this dude every year, he's like, this is my porch. He had schematics. It took him a month to plan all of this stuff.
I had a theme going.
Every year was a theme.
In Port Elgin, I had a theme going.
Every year was a theme.
I spent a lot of time on. I'm one of those ones that I still want to scare people.
Oh yeah, it was a plan, and he did.
I got a full body. I made a full body double essentially, and I wrapped it. So it was jeans and an old shirt, and I sewed it all together, and I stuffed it. And I put a fake head on it, and then I flipped it upside down, and I put spider web all around it, and I hung it up in the front porch. And I had a couple of people ask me, like, is that thing gonna move, or like, what's up with
there? Were children that wouldn't come up.
Yes.
He
I was so happy.
He was so accomplished because he scared the crap out of kids. So the kids, it was sort of you live vicariously. You're like, okay, well, I can't. You want to do all the fun Halloween stuff, and it was fun for us. Quinny, one of his best costumes is because he was 2 and didn't know what was going on. We dressed him up as Thing Half.
So not Thing 1 or Thing 2, but Thing Half because he was so little.
Because he was teeny.
Nice.
And he had really long hair, so his hair was down to his shoulders, and it was blonde curls. So we got blue hairspray and teased it and everything like that, and we got red pajamas, and Ray painted the thing on his. It was awesome. Yeah. So it's always been fun, and the kids every year, as soon as Halloween's over, they're already thinking about what they want to be next year. And
now you guys had the toll, right? We have the parent tax.
We have the parent tax. So they're so conditioned that they just dump all of their candy out on the coffee table.
And then we go through.
We all go through it, and it's a communal thing. Nobody has their candy.
Because I'm walking too.
Yeah, because we don't trust them or think it's unsafe. This is how we trick or treat.
That's my shit too.
Yeah, and some run into people we know. It's a little social hour for us too. So for us, it's not that we don't think the kids can totally go on, but Logan does with their friends now too. Yeah. But we just go to, because there's nobody around here, we drop Logan off, and we just do her friend's neighborhood, which is amazing. It's awesome.
So there's one guy I feel like my heart. He and I share the same soul.
Yeah.
He takes the chain off, but he runs the chainsaw and chases the kids. It's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh my God. There was a guy that did that in my neighborhood, and it was horrifying but awesome.
Oh, awesome! Because he'll just all of a sudden he'll just start it up and run at them, and it's like me. Awesome.
Those are always the best.
Brings back memories to haunted houses I used to go to.
Right?
Yeah, even in our old place in Port Austin, we just used to do the block because the kids were little. There were still, so before Quinny could actually like really hear, if it looked spooky, he wasn't going. You couldn't drag him. No, it's not happening. We need to go to the next house.
He had enough trouble getting into our house.
So we just do the block and that's it.
Y'all traumatized your poor kid. He was walking up to the house. He's like, I don't want to go home.
Aww.
He was scared of both of them are afraid of cats. Logan's much better now, but still, Quinn and I don't like being scared.
The thing that I do miss about it though, and I'll get back into it, you know, if we ever go to a spot with down again. I used to have a theme with every pumpkin. So one year I found these gourds that kind of looked like they were melted, and so I put a frying pan out, put wood underneath it, had red lights so it looked like a fire, and then I always had a big fat pumpkin and a tall skinny one that would like do something to little tiny pumpkins. So that year they were frying up the pumpkins.
Yeah, one year they were smashed.
I had another one where they were smashing it with a hammer. So I'd have a bunch of little ones that were all smashed everywhere, and then a couple other ones that are looking up terrified at the bigger pumpkins. And it was just, I love that kind of stuff. That's I'm with you. Like,
but it's only
my favorite.
Yeah, holiday. It's our favorite. We feel like it should be a national holiday.
Yes.
So the only reason you can't do that here is because there's nobody.
Yeah, like I would do it, but yeah, there's nobody to enjoy it, right? Like there's no point of doing it here. So my sister has a porch that I'd like to get a hold of.
She'd let you. She's not doing it.
No, she's not going to do it. So I'll see if I can get in on it this year. I think I was working. Oh no, I can't do it this year because she's getting ready for others. Anyway,
yeah, you can't do it this year.
Maybe I'll do Sean's house.
I don't have anyone coming, but otherwise, yeah, sure. Whatever. It's me doing the work.
Yeah, Halloween's it's still fun for us because we still go out because as kids, it's fun. It's fun.
So, and I want to touch on this whole scary part. Is it not scary to us because we're older and we're adults now and we know it's fake? Or because this is, for me, I look back at the movies that were scary and I laugh at them now. Like, laugh at the horror slasher.
Well, I think that, honestly, the internet has created, it's made it like super easy to look things up. Like,
the fact that there was never any razor blades in the thing, like you can easily look that up. It's like, no, the information's out there.
Right. But also like superstitious type things. Like I remember kind of sort of believing that vampires might be real until I was like, in junior high, and I looked it up in the library, and I went and read like a book on the history of vampires, and I was like, fuck! I was really pissed off. I was like, this is all bullshit. You know, but that was the thing is like, you know, it was just a different time where superstitions were more common and people believed. I mean, we didn't know for sure anything. You know, it was like, oh, you got a Ouija board. Oh, I don't know about that. And you know.
Oh, I used to fuck with a Ouija board. That was a thing when I was a kid still.
Yeah, and you would hear people would tell you stories, you know, like, oh man, last night there was this thing outside my window and I don't know what it was. And everybody got scared and we ran it, you know. I mean, people, that doesn't happen anymore, you know? Like if somebody starts to tell a story about something, they're like, oh, yeah, hang on. Let me find that on Facebook. Yeah, here's where it was on Facebook.
I'll say this, though.
Yeah.
I think there's a point to what Ray's saying because my kids in my class have a lot of like superstitions and stuff like that because of stuff that they see on YouTube.
Yeah, I was going to say it's changed now in the way that because there was that what was that face?
Oh no, the MoMA, the
Momo face.
Oh my God!
Well, that was
a big exploded.
Yeah,
like
don't even get me started.
Okay, but what you're talking about is like that's around for like a little maybe a couple years at the most, and then it goes away because people are like.
It feels to me like when I was a kid, the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark was a big book, like a big deal. So a lot of those like old school like urban legends and stuff had kind of come back around, but the kids cling to it the same way they cling to this stuff that they hear about on the internet the same way that we did when I was a kid to these stories in this book.
Yeah.
So I think it's not as scary to us because we're not in that part of it, but I think there's still a little like, I don't know, creepy factor to some of these kids.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm sure there's some of it and some stories that, like y'all are talking about, absolutely. But y'all aren't going to tell me it's the same as it was. I mean,
no. It's different, scary, but it's
different. It's not worse or better or anything. It's just different.
It's just changed.
It's just different.
The point I was going to bring up is the fact that part of it is definitely the fact that we're adults now.
Yes.
And that's obviously going to change it, because the things that scared me as a kid don't scare me as an adult. The shit that scares me as an adult is like unemployment and
student loans.
Yeah. Fuck, my car broke down again. Do I have enough money to fix this shit? That's the shit that
my alarm didn't go off.
Yeah.
Unemployment is not as scary as you think. Like, I've been unemployed several times.
You know what? You are right, Cyrus. I have not been unemployed in quite a while, but still.
Fills me with anxiety.
And then I think one of the other things is most of us are in the boat where we've either had kids or have kids, and so it kind of shifts things to being, well, I don't necessarily want the scary stuff being around the kid, or at least right now while they're younger. When they're a little bit older, yeah, maybe we can watch some scary movies or whatever. So I think one of the other things that I put down was the fact that, like every other holiday, Halloween has become so commercialized because, like I said,
which is and awful.
I don't really have a problem with Spirit of Halloween and I don't know why. Maybe I'm looking at this wrong, but I don't have a problem
with you look at Christmas.
Right. Like, okay, so here's an example. In August, the Spirit of Halloween opened up here in Killeen. And they were open in August through September and, of course, until now. But they're only open like 2 to 3 months out of the year. At the same time, I literally went to Spirit of Halloween, and then I went to Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby in August already had Halloween stuff out. And I'm like, okay, well, Spirit of Halloween's open, all right, whatever. And then I turn the corner, and the Christmas shit's already out. And I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me?
Well, that's just lazy. That's all that is. That's just lazy.
It's ridiculous. But I mean, it's
like the forest at the beginning of Nightmare Before Christmas. You walk in and all the fucking trees are there.
Yeah, it's so commercialized. Commercialized now.
Commercialized? Shut up. I was wondering how long it would take before we finally had a new word invented by Eugene. Eugene used to do this every show. He used to always come up with an invented word every show.
I don't know, sure.
Thanks for bringing that up.
It's been a long time.
It has been.
It's very nostalgic.
Yeah. I know what I'm going for Halloween next year.
It's commercialized. Thanks, guys. One of the other things that I had on there was kind of the religious debate over it. Like, I know there are still some people that still kind of, oh, well, we don't do Halloween, because, this, that, and the other, because, for what are our religious beliefs. But now, like I said, because it's become so commercialized, it's like, dude, like what you're doing, it has nothing to do with anything pagan or anything else. You're just fucking let your kids dress up and go get candy from other people.
A quick Google search will teach you that.
Yeah. So, I also had down that scary movies are different now. Like I said, they're year round now to kind of compete.
I was thinking also, you got to also think about something else. We were in a unique age group because, like, all the slasher stuff happened when we were kids. That's when Michael Myers and Jason and Freddy and Chucky and all these things happened. And now that they're remade and all that now, but it was just a different time.
It was. It was totally a different time.
Yeah.
So, and then here's kind of some of the other kind of playing stuff. So, I heard something the other day. Now, the guy I heard it from, I don't always trust everything you hear. He says,
was it Rudy?
No, it wasn't Rudy.
What?
I said I don't necessarily trust everything this person says, and she said, "Was it Rudy?" One of the things, and
Why don't you believe me?
there is a seed of truth in this, in that um, daylight savings time does not switch until after Halloween,
Mm-hmm.
which means like the official time that the city that we live in, Killeen, has for trick or treating is between 6 and 8. It doesn't even fucking start getting dark until like 7:30. So like one of the big things that we've noticed is, like, especially when we're trick or treating, if we start right at 6 o'clock, a lot of houses are not ready. Like people are still fucking getting home from work and stuff.
Yeah.
I remember trick or treating as a kid. Like it was like when there were houses that weren't lit up, it was fucking dark. And
Yeah.
then the houses, of course, that were lit up were the ones that you went to. But now it's like it's still pretty light outside. And here's where the funny thing comes in. The guy that I was listening to said that the reason why this is because they did shift several years ago. They did shift daylight savings back, and his theory was it was the candy companies paying off the government to do this so that there would be more light for trick or treating. And I'm like, okay, sure.
The candy companies did
The
this.
candy companies did this
Mhm.
because you know there's big oil, and there's big chocolate.
Big chocolate.
Big chocolate, big nougat gets in there, and they throw their money around. And
I never trusted that Willy Wonka.
but yeah, that's I think that also kind of contributes to the fact that Halloween isn't as scary because it's fucking daylight most of the time anyway. So, and then now here's something else that I also heard, and that this is actually true. Some little bullshit town up north passed a city ordinance that if you are 14, if you anyone caught trick or treating that is 14 years and older, it's a $500 fine.
I saw that.
Here's the thing, though. Here, the big thing is like, I'm a shitty 14-year-old. I'm going to wear jeans and a t-shirt and then go try to beg for candy from other people's houses. If you're not putting in an effort, I'm not giving you shit.
I agree with that.
Yes. That's why every year I put on a costume, I put effort in, and
That's
I
right.
don't knock the door past 8:30.
That's right.
But and it's what's funny is I saw something on Facebook. Someone posted something on Facebook. They're like, if a teenager comes to your door dressed in an actual costume, give them candy. Fucking, if they're putting in the effort, they're not going around doing other bullshit things. They're just trying to be a kid. And I'm like, hell yeah, I totally agree with that.
They could
But
be
put
like
in the effort. I am like you, Lainey. If they just show up in a t-shirt and jeans, fuck you.
Get out.
This is another one of those laws that old people pass because old people vote.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So, but yeah, I heard that the other day and I was just like, that's such bullshit.
Yeah.
I reserve the right to egg a child that doesn't attempt to.
She's gonna egg the kid.
The child.
Yeah.
Right? The
You don't have a costume on. Start running. Like,
egg too, motherfucker. Anyway, but if I was a 14-year-old in that town, I would probably egg the city hall.
Yeah.
Just imagining this little teeter-totter kid comes up with no costume and he's like, "Fuck you!"
Ray literally opens the door. He's got an egg in one hand and candy in the other. He's like, trick or treat.
So it's all, hey, look what I got you. I got you. And then like grabs the back of their head.
My favorite are the toddlers that walk into your house and make themselves at home.
Yes,
Oh,
I
love
love
those.
I've had that
haven't
happen.
had that. That's awesome.
well,
Yeah,
thank you
I've
for
had that
opening the
happen.
door for me. I love that.
Badoo.
Yeah.
I get that every day.
Let me tell you why it happened to me. There was one year, little bitty kid like I talk about was come up, and I've got the candy that I'm about to give to the kid, and I've got a big ass bowl of candy sitting on my couch. The kid sees me, sees the bowl, and just walks in and tries to go past me to get to the giant bowl. And the parents are like, "No, no, no!" And I'm like, so that's when I learned.
All you can do is laugh. I mean, at that point.
Yeah, it was funny. It was funny.
Have you guys had a visit from the adult with a drink or treat?
Okay, so the house that my brother used to live in, that's 2 or 3 streets down from this house, they didn't do it last year, but the year before last, Lainey was with us. We were all trick or treating.
So cool.
The kids go up, the boys go up. Now, it was at the very end of trick or treating, so they're tired. But they go up and they ring the doorbell and they open up the door and they give the boys full size candy bars.
Fuck yeah.
And then look at the adults, which was me and Lainey, and I think Christy was with us, and was like, come on up. And we're like, okay.
We have treats for the adults too.
And we're like, here's a beer. And it's just like, everyone in this neighborhood is going to look after your house. You will never be broken into.
You'll never have a problem. Ever.
Like, your neighbors are going to be like, dude, man, like, I saw someone in your driveway. Do you know who it was?
Like, listen.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, they were so cool.
So
yeah, I would totally be okay with adults going too. If the adults were, especially if they're with the kids and they're dressed up, like, fuck yeah, take some candy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I always offer. I always offer.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that. The one that I had, Chris was out trick or treating with them, with the kids. So it was just me handing out candy, and it was a bit later. I can't remember where you went. I don't remember. Anyway,
I don't remember this.
Had a knock at the door and came up, and it was I could tell it was an adult because the size of them was not a kid.
Uh-huh.
A sign, and it said "Drink or Treat," and they had an empty beer bottle with them, and they were like, they're empty. So and they wouldn't say a word. So got them a beer, handed it out to them. They came in, sat on the seat, drank through the mask, looked around. It's like, how you doing? Shaking their head, thumbs up, never said a word. And then finished off the beer, handed me the empty beer bottle, walked out, and went to the next house. And
Super creepy. I don't know.
Dude, you don't know if that was like a
Canadian hospitality.
Yes.
That's
man.
just. I would.
That'd get you shot down here.
Yeah,
Listen.
I wouldn't. Yeah, Chris and I are both like, I would never let a stranger.
No,
in
that's
my
just
home.
him. That's him.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a kid.
Do that in the school costume.
You know what would happen here? This is what would happen here. That would have been like a 17-year-old kid who would have gotten caught and then ratted you out. And the cops would have showed up at your house at 2 a.m. and arrested your ass and took you to jail for contributing.
I knew it was an adult because I knew it was
He had to be an adult.
But anyway,
I'm sure it was an adult.
I'm sure it was an adult because a teenager would not have had that much bravado.
That's a lot of balls, yeah.
That is a lot of balls.
Yeah.
And honestly, if the teenager had the balls to do that, they weren't going to rat him out. They were like, fuck, I'm being back here next year.
I thought it was Sean.
It wasn't, but it might be this year.
Well, see, this is the first year that we're having something odd happen this year because Christy's grandparents the last several years have come up here. So, like, me and Lainey and usually Christy will take the boys and go trick-or-treating, and her grandparents will stay at the house and hand out candy. They're not coming up here this year. And they mentioned that they wanted to go trick-or-treating with their cousin. So this year, we're not even handing out candy. Like, we're going to be one of those houses going dark. We're actually going to drive to the other side of town and hook up with the cousins and trick-or-treat.
Leave a bowl out front.
Here's the problem with leaving the bowl out front. You will have a few that will be perfectly fine and grab.
Someone's going to take all the candy.
Exactly.
But you still leave a bowl out front.
Yeah, so what if they
there
take all
early.
the candy? Let them have the candy.
Get there early.
No, maybe.
I never took more than 2.
I mean, I'd just be like, so what
I'm
if they
the
took it all?
worst.
You're giving away candy anyway. Like, let them have it.
Then maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I mean, I definitely won't spend a lot of money on the candy, but I mean, we may still do that then. So
I had to go back to my house to get a new sack when I found one of those houses.
But I mean, that's usually what we do near the end of the night. Like, if we've come in and we're kind of tired, or technically trick or treating is supposed to end at 8:00 here, but we know there are going to be some people that are still going to wander up. So that's what we would do: is we just put the bowl of candy out there and just here, take what you want, and when it's empty, turn off the lights. And the thing what annoys me though is those kids that will come up and knock on the door, ring the doorbell when the lights are off. Like, it's very clear I do not have my lights on. So
That's just called I don't have any home training. And no one
Yes.
taught me not
No
to
one
knock
taught
on
me
a
how to
dark
trick or treat
door.
properly.
The only bad thing is if you leave a bowl full of candy and they know you're not there, you might come home with a full bowl of candy and an empty house.
Shit. I have an alarm.
Fine.
So, well, is anything else anyone want to add to this? Any other thoughts as to?
I just miss being a kid and having Halloween or having the kids come. I miss Halloween.
I was gonna say, so I bought a Ford Flex, and some friends of Lainey and I, the members of the Ghostbusters, have a Flex as well, and they've converted theirs into an Ecto, not full time, but whenever they do, special events or whatever.
It looks
And it's
really
one of
cool.
those. Yes, it's very cool, and it is something that I want to do with my car. And it's one of those things I've thought about. I've never done this before. Have any of y'all gone to a trunk or treat?
No, but I've heard a lot of my students go to those.
Apparently,
that sounds like it could be dangerous.
They do this. They do this on Fort Hood a lot. People will come out and they all park this large parking lot, and they'll like decorate the back end of their car and like have their trunk open, and then the kids go around and trick or treat doing that.
Cute. It's actually
and I'm
really
like,
cute.
dude,
People get
showing
into
up, showing up with a fucking Ecto would be so baller to do that.
I just imagine you go to the one trunk and it's like, there's no can, and they throw you in the,
That's not candy. That's a dead body.
What is all the plastic for? Oh.
I saw one picture from a trunk or treat where someone had like one of those old like Ford pickups, like a 50 something like Ford pickup, and they made it look like Tow Mater, but when he's dressed as a vampire.
Oh, that is awesome.
People get into trunk or treat.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. And I mean, I can understand that. Like if you're not gonna do the whole house up and you just want to do the car, go for it.
It's like a way. I talked to a parent about that this week actually, and she was telling me like they do it just because some of the houses in their neighborhood they feel they're kind of questionable. It makes them more comfortable because they go to a well-lit. They have younger kids. They go to a well-lit parking lot. They can trick or treat as a family. So, and I get it. So not everybody.
Do the malls where y'all lived ever do trick or treating? Because I think the mall here does, but I've never gone.
They do, and I won't go near it.
Too much of a bastardized version of what it should be, Lainey.
Too many of my students. Like I'm just not about it. I don't want to see that right now.
I could imagine it becoming kind of a promotional thing. Like, hey, if you buy $25, we'll get you, 2 pieces of candy or like something stupid like that.
Well, I think they do it. They just hand out candy. But yeah, if you have to buy something first, fuck them. You'd be in the mall egging the store in the mall.
Fuck you, Forever 21.
I know.
Ironically, if you're 21, you're too old to go trick or treating.
Too old to go trick or treating.
Yep. All right, I think that's about it for the main topic, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get moving to our picks and pans. Would anyone like to go first? I'll go first. I've got two picks for this week. I went and saw 2 movies this week. First movie I went and saw was Zombieland Double Tap. It's not as good as the first one, but it's very close and it's very funny. It's definitely worth going to see. I love the fact that the first trailer for this that came out is literally Academy Award nominated, Academy Award winner. And it's like all 4 of these people have fucking gone on to fantastic careers, and they're like, no, let's go back and make a stupid zombie movie.
I love it.
But you can tell they all had fun doing it, which was great. So that's definitely a pick of mine. My other pick is last night I went and watched Joker, and it's a fantastic. I'm sorry.
We need to do a video about that.
It is a fantastic movie. It is hard to watch. It is uncomfortable at points, which is what it's supposed to be. It's really good. I don't know if we'll get anything else on this kind of universe to say or whatever, but I'd be perfectly fine if this is just a one-off. This is just a crazy ass version of the Joker. Joaquin Phoenix did a fantastic job, creating his version of the character. So, What's sad is, boy, it really puts Jared Leto in such a bad fucking light. You have fucking Heath Ledger's Joker, and now you've got Joaquin Phoenix, and you got fucking Jared Leto's bullshit interpretation.
Apparently,
I appreciate. Do what?
Apparently, there's a tweet out there. Jared Leto said, "Stop sending me this shit," as a joke, and it's the other three Jokers laughing at him.
Aww.
I gotta find it.
So, but yeah, so definitely, if you get a chance, go see Zombieland or Joker or both of them. So, Ray, pick or pan?
Well, I somebody made my day.
Okay.
And probably my year. Like it was. The dude is awesome, and he's a bastard at the same time. But to have a door open and crispy and like, what the hell's this? And open a box with a Sega Mini Classic is pretty fucking awesome. So, yeah, appreciate it, man. That made my year. That was amazing. So,
well, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm just glad that I was able to do it, and life's about trying to have happiness wherever you can get it, and it makes me happy to make other people happy.
I really appreciate it. So, yeah, it was awesome. So, Sean, you got to get you over here, bud.
Soon. Winter's coming.
Yeah.
Chris, you got a pick or pan?
Sure. So I don't.
When's the last time we did this?
So when was the last time you were on?
It's been a while, so you can pretty much pick anything that's happened like a month or so.
A lot of stuff's happened.
England?
Not enough time. So we went to England,
which was amazing.
Which was a very delayed honeymoon for us, but we also left on our dating anniversary too. So,
for 20 years.
We've been together for 20 years.
Where did y'all stay? Where did y'all stay while you were there?
A bunch of places, yeah.
This is my place. Go away.
Okay.
Not gonna make 21.
It's part of London, and then we stayed in Folkestone, which is down by the coast near Dover, but did a day in Canterbury, and then we went back up to London and stayed in Westminster, which is the Zhuzhi part near Buckingham Palace. It was amazing.
Can I ask a personal question?
Oh no!
Go ahead.
Did you christen the hotels?
You really want to know that?
No, you don't. You know.
No, Dad, I don't.
Off the air.
So
I will tell you later.
Trip. It was my first time on an airplane in a really long time, and I was very. It's a phobia to get on a plane for me. It's a real fear. I needed medication to get on the plane in order to just get through it, and I needed medication on the way back to get through it. I'm so grateful that stuff exists because it was exhausting for me. And people who love flying or don't care about it, it's hard for them to get on a plane. It's the safest way to travel. It's like, not what it's about. It's not about the nail. And, but it was an amazing trip. I'm glad that we went. I want to go back and live there. Unfortunately, with good comes bad. The day we got back,
it's okay.
My granddad died, and I knew he'd been sick. Sorry. Yeah. It was really, really quick. So I didn't know any of this because my sister and my dad were just saying, enjoy your trip. And because what am I going to do? I'm across an ocean. There's nothing I can do. So the day we got back, the moment we got our luggage and we were standing outside to wait for our shuttle to get to where our car was, I got a call from my sister, and I was like, we've landed. And she's like, just a second, that's Dad on the phone. So she hung up with me. 2 minutes later, she called back. She goes, you need to go to the hospital right now. And thankfully, we were in the same city that my granddad was staying in the hospital. It's where he lives in Toronto. And I got to say goodbye. I got to hold him and kiss him. And so did Ray. And it was beautiful. And on our way home, we got a phone call that he had passed away. And then the funeral was the week after, and it was wonderful. It was open casket, but he looked so good.
Yeah.
And so dealing with that was hard because, you know, it's the second person that's close to me has ever died. So I don't know how to do this very well. And so that was a down, but everybody's been so patient and wonderful with me that it's helped a lot. And then I saw Joker, and that was not good.
See?
I went with Sean and Deb. Both Deb and I have the same feelings about the movie. Ray and Sean have the same feelings about the movie, and they're very, very
Oh my
different.
God, I'm remembering the hospital thing. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
So it was really hard to watch that.
I turned to her at one point. I was like,
He thought I was gonna leave. Like he thought I was gonna leave. So that was a hard one to watch, and I was like, I can never unsee that. But I have no words. I never want to see that again.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Awful movie. I hated it.
Way to go, Ray.
Yeah.
Listen, so I first of all, I'm like, okay, the Joker, Joker, I should go see it with Sean. I'll go see it alone. Chris usually doesn't want to see these kind of things anyway. And then Sean's like, hey, you and Chris can come see. And I'm like, well, Deb's going. Maybe it's not
Deb
as
wants
bad.
to go, then
Shouldn't be as bad.
Yeah,
I'm thinking.
I'll go.
So, hey, you want to go? And yeah, okay, if Deb's going, it shouldn't be that bad. It was, whew.
We always hurt the ones we love.
I didn't want to see Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. I'm like, I don't want to see another Spider-Man
And she
movie.
loved
And
it.
I absolutely love this movie. I'm like, okay.
Fantastic movie.
It is fucking fantastic.
Yeah, and I'll go in open-minded. And then about a half hour into the movie, I'm like, this is not for me. Like,
Mine's closed. I'm out.
I just go. It's too much.
Cyrus, do you have a picker pan?
Well, I don't really have a picker pan, but Jon Snow does have a pick.
Oh, no.
I'll show you.
Sorry, I got scared.
Oh, okay. I know what the pick is.
You cat.
New couch.
Man.
Yeah, he's digging the couch.
Kitty approved.
He's loving it. They're both loving it. They're all over it, and they just want to like hang out and on the couch, and they love it, because it's so big. There's so many options and places to be, and wherever I'm sitting, they can still be next to me, and it's pretty cool. So the couch, I guess, is my pick. It's nice to finally have real furniture. We had furniture obviously when I had the house. I mean, but that was a long time ago. And since I've been here, it's been kind of like, well, I kind of have furniture, but when I was going to take my vacation, which is my other pick, is this vacation that I've been on. I've been off for work all week. I was like, man, I'm going to be at home the whole time, basically. I want to be comfortable. So I'm going to buy something, some real furniture. So, and I have a pan, which was my, I'm not going to go into this. My bathroom, my toilet.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. It's horrible. Toilet backed up into the house and in the apartment. And I had to clean the apartment anyway because they were going to deliver this couch. But then I really had to clean the apartment.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I have a pan along those lines, but I'm not going to go in.
That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
Good deal. Sean, you got a picker pan for us?
My pan's my truck dying on me. So
Oh yeah, that sucks.
Oh.
I'll get it figured out. I'll get it fixed, but I might get a pan out of it in a week or two with the new truck. So we'll see.
Yep.
You get a pick.
Silver lining.
There you go. Lainey, you got a picker pan for us?
My pick is this aesthetic of Chris in this turtleneck holding the cat. That's pretty dope. That's my whole Halloween aesthetic. Hi, kitty cats.
I
love-
used to have a cat
This
that
is
looked
a-
almost
this is an
exactly
oil
like
paint.
that.
Like
This is Minerva.
she's
Is she a
perfect.
tortoiseshell?
Torty.
It's a tortie.
Okay.
She's
Wow.
cute. Ship her
found-
over. Want to see her?
I used to have a cat that looked almost exactly like that.
Hey,
That's really
awesome.
strange.
Like, sure, pick me up, love me. And Murray's like, don't touch me.
She's
No,
been
that's right.
conditioned. Stockholm syndrome. She's got no choice.
I think Murray is so afraid that I'm gonna like suddenly come home with 18 cats and
Maybe that's it.
Probably so.
poor Murray. But yeah,
Well, alrighty then, ladies and gentlemen. As always, you can find us on epicallygeeky.com. You can find the shows on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Music. Please give us a review. It would really, really help out. Also, share the show with people that you're friends with. We'd love to, increase our viewership. So I know there are people out there listening. I've seen the numbers. We'd love to grow those numbers if we could. So we do have a couple other shows on the network. We've got the Marginally Geeky Show. We just had a new episode drop on that. We reviewed the book Outland. And I think if you listen to that podcast, I think we've decided our next book is going to be Felicia Day's Embrace Your Weird. And then we're going to knock out both of the remaining Bobaverse books. So December's going to be packed, but man, it's going to be a good one. Sustainably Geeky just had a new episode drop a little bit ago. The next one's already in the can, so that one should be coming out here probably in the next week or so. I'm sorry?
It's about hydroponics.
Yes, it's about hydroponics. I have no idea anything about that, so it's going to be interesting learning about that. And then we have a new show on the network, Procrastinators. The first episode of that is out, and we talked about Kirby Superstar, and the next game that we're playing for that is Bubble Bobble. So, and actually, I just got out my NES Classic. It's sitting here waiting to be hooked back up again, so I can play through it and we can do a review on that. So, and then of course you can find us at Epically Geeky on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Where can we find you online, Cyrus Martin?
You can go to videogamevirus.com or go to YouTube and look up Cyrus Martin Video Game Virus, or so Cyrus Martin thinks he can take down my channel or something like that. And you'll find you'll find me and videos about me. I do video game stuff, obviously. But it's mainly like retro stuff, mainly like old school and television, Atari, Nintendo, Genesis, Super Nintendo, TurboGrafx 16, video game stuff, but some modern stuff. I just actually did a full playthrough of the Order 1886 on PS4. Which
did you finish it, by the way? Because I got to see part of it on my lunch break, and then I had to leave.
Yes, I did 3 videos. They were all over 2 hours long. It took a lot longer than I thought. And it was really good. It was a good, nice, and this is a good season to play a game like that.
Oh,
yeah. It was fun, and it looked beautiful. So that was, that was fun. So yeah, check me out on the YouTubes.
Sean, where can we find you online?
I'm usually stalking Lainey.
rude.
Pretty much all of us.
That or Marginally Geeky, if I can make it. I missed the last one. Unfortunately, kind of sucks. But yeah, I'm around. Look me up.
Good deal. Lainey, where can we find you online?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at It's a Laney Bird. I don't post a lot right now because I'm always at school. I'm never not at school. Constantly at school. So, but every now and then I'll put something on there. I mostly just stalk people I like on Twitter. So really interesting over here. I'm a dynamic character.
So we do a lot of stalking here. If y'all didn't pick up on that.
I was gonna say, speaking of stalking people online, where can we find you, Chris?
So here at Geeky, Marginally Geeky, which we just started Felicia Day's book, and love it.
Okay, good.
It's a lot of fun.
So good. Gonna have to re-listen to it because it's an interactive book.
Yes.
Okay.
And, yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yes. Be
It's a
prepared.
workbook.
It's a workbook.
It's
Is
an
it like choose your own adventure, or what do you mean?
Sort of.
Okay, see, now I'm really excited for it. I really need to read it now.
Great workbook about creativity
And
Okay,
getting
cool.
and harnessing your creativity and not being afraid of it. So it's actually kind of this wonderful time for us to read it.
As well as kind of a self-help book.
Yes. So it's really great. I think we're on chapter 3 already on it. We just started
Somewhere
listening to
around
it.
there,
It's
yeah.
also, you said it's like 5
It's like 5 hours, yeah.
5 hours,
So
so.
it's-
Yeah,
Quick-
super.
I was just imagining, like, if you think Felicia Day had a traumatizing accident, go to page 34. If you think she had a delicious chocolate sundae, 35.
Yeah. And then Sustainably Geeky, we just did a show on hydroponics, and we had an expert in the field in there, and he's super, super knowledgeable. So I think that one's dropping next month.
Is it like hydroponics or is it like
No.
hydroponics?
Well,
Dude, that's legal here.
Oh.
That's true.
Oh,
Damn
God,
it,
Steven
that's
is the best.
Damn it.
What?
I forgot about something. Keep going.
Oh, okay. And then I, in a haste, because this is what I do sometimes, totally deleted all my Instagram accounts. So So I'm not stalking anybody. I know. It's Tuesday. Chris deleted something. So I'm going to take a little break, not even going on it, because I find it was just a big mind suck and it wasn't helping me any. So I just needed to actually get rid of it completely. And then I'll be back. It'll be a little bit, but I'll be back because I do enjoy stalking people on Instagram.
Good deal.
Mm-hmm.
Ray, where can we find you online?
Well, I have not deleted my Instagram account.
He did it. Because somebody has to keep an eye on our daughter on her Instagram account.
Her name is me. That's what I'm doing.
You can find me at the Reluctant Yeti, which we are about to get into the reluctant winter season. But at least I'm playing hockey again. So, Reluctant Yeti on Instagram, Twitter, and I hardly ever post, but I'm on there once in a while. And Facebook, you can find me on Raymond Andrew. There's an artist page there, and then there's also the Reluctant Yeti shop, which is on Etsy. So. I always forget to post, and thanks for reminding me every time, Eugene.
No problem. Yes, and if you want to find his Etsy store, if you just go to epicallygeeky.com and click the Etsy link, it'll take you to both the Epically Geeky Etsy store and Ray's Etsy store. So you can get to everything you need to get to. So
let me ask you a question. When Eugene reminds you of something, does the reminder end with the word right? That's usually how it reminds me.
Usually, yes.
You're going to do that, right? Yes, Eugene, I'm going to do that. Okay.
I hate you guys. Not really. I love you guys. I'm so glad y'all are back on again. As for me, you can follow my individual wacky adventure on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Optimus Gene. For everyone on the site, have a good night.